Alright guys, we're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about analysis paralysis. And yeah, two words sound pretty similar. So breakdown first of all, analysis. So it's going to be, we're talking about you constantly looking for more things to do, which will, yes, they may be helpful in some sort of way, but it's avoiding the main tasks that you need to be doing. So analysis paralysis as a whole, as a theory, is basically you doing what is you've got something that's needed to be done. You've got, let's say you need to do a certain amount of outreach, or you need to go to the gym, and you're avoiding it by doing something else which needs to be done but isn't a priority. So it could be, I need to go to the gym, but I'm avoiding it by cleaning my room and reading and doing this instead. And you keep making small excuses and bringing up little things that need to be done but aren't the priority, and you're wasting time doing those things when you've got something bigger, something more important, something more urgent that needs to be done. So it could be, this is something that I've struggled with a bit, and it's, so instead of trying to get into sales and going full pedal to the metal with outreach and trying to get that sales position, what I was for a certain period of time was just looking for the next course to buy, the next place where I can get all the information. Or, well, I've got this course here, but this place, they cover this as well. And you've got to understand that it's not about what you have access to. It's not about what you actually have. It's kind of, so you don't need that extra course. You don't need to do that little extra thing. You just need to start. And this applies to everything. All right, listen, everything this applies to. Whatever you're doing, if you keep thinking that you need to read more about it, do more research, get more experience before you go and do it, you're wrong. Get started in it. Just start doing what you're learning about, implement it every day. And yes, you can do learning as well. You can spend time reading up on the topic, you can spend time doing courses on the topic, it is whatever you want. Let's say with YouTube, like what we're doing here, I could spend lots of time looking up and researching the project I want to talk about, the topic I want to talk about even. So I could look at that, I could spend an hour a day researching it, writing down notes and organising like a script, so to say, for what I want to do for my YouTube video, and then end of the day I can make that YouTube video. But if I'm just there and I'm doing all the research on the topic and I don't make the YouTube video, you haven't done anything. Nothing matters. Yes, I may have a little bit more information on that subject, but you've got to implement it, and you've got to take action upon what you've been doing. So with sales, you don't need that extra course. You need to go out there and get a sales position to start implementing what you've learned and to start learning on the job. And that's going to shorten your learning curve a ton. With the gym, you don't need to go and watch tons and tons of YouTube videos on the correct bench press technique. What you need to do is go into the gym, find what's comfortable for you, find what works best, find what activates your chest, your shoulders and your triceps the most, find what position is most comfortable for you, how far down on the chest should it be, how wide should your arms be, are you more comfortable with your elbows tucked or wider? What's best for you? You've got to find, because it's different for everyone, but the only way to find what is truly best for you is to go out there and experiment. Be it with a diet as well. If you find something that works for you, yes, that may be what's best that you've found so far. So say like a carnivore keto with a bit of fruit and honey, that's kind of what I do at the minute. So lots of meat, whole foods, and then fruit and honey on top. That's what I eat at the minute, but it's the best what I've found so far, but there could be something better out there for me, something that works better for my body. So I want to keep experimenting as time goes on, and it doesn't have to be a huge amount of time on it. It doesn't have to be half a year of doing this one solid thing and it doesn't work at all. Right? If you do 6 weeks, 8 weeks of it, and by the 8th week you're like, okay, this isn't working, scrap it. Okay, you don't have to do it. go back to what you were doing or go on to the next thing. Like if I was trying out a new diet, I wouldn't sit there for like a whole year expecting it to change if I don't see results after a few months, because I know then, okay, it's not working for me, obviously. And if with training, if I'm doing the exact same thing, if I'm bench pressing really narrow but with my elbows really flared, and it's not working, then I'm not going to expect anything different to happen. You've got to find what works best for you, and you've got to implement what you learn as well. You've got to take action on what you've learned and what you're learning about on a daily basis. So if you're learning about all the different forms, if you're learning about all the knowledge on nutrition, just start implementing and you'll learn so much more as well. Because finding out what works best for you and your body and your mind and how you operate throughout the day, you might have higher energy levels in the morning or the evening, and work your schedule to how that works, to however you operate. That's one thing I've found. So implement what works best for you, implement what you've learned, take action, and learn from the progress that you make. So learning from how you've progressed over time in every aspect. You can say, okay, this worked, I'm not going to do that. This didn't work, I'm not going to do that, but this worked really well. Okay, I'm going to do this, but I could try this and see if that works in the future. Okay, I've tried this now, it didn't work. Okay, I'll go back to what I was doing for a little bit, and then I'll go on to try something else. And it doesn't always have to be business related. You don't always have to be pushing yourself in the business zone, which, well, you should be, but you don't always have to be attacking that new thing. You could be making progress on this one aspect and then go to a different part of the business. You don't have to keep trying to find new ways of doing that one specific area. So say your outreach, okay, so I do my outreach, this method isn't working, this method isn't working, when your old method was fine, whereas your marketing is gone to shit, or something else is just really terrible. Or in fitness, there's no point in trying to find a completely different training method when you've got one that's absolutely fine, but your recovery and your nutrition is terrible. You've got to touch all the bases, you've got to get all the basics as well, get all the basics, touch all the bases, so then you can excel forward in all areas. If you have 100% and 100% and then 0% and 0%, it's going to make a lot more of a difference if you put 10% more into the 0% instead of 10% more into the 100%. So you've got four areas to improve on. Let's say you've got your recovery, you've got your nutrition, you've got your training, and okay, let's say you've got 3: recovery, nutrition, training, and one's 100, one's 0, and the other's 50, say. So 150, 0. And then you put 10% into that 50 and it goes to 60. So that's a 20% increase. You put 100% into the 100, you put 10% into the 100, you've got a 10% increase. But you put a 10% increase into that 0 and you've got an infinite increase, which is, infinite, but it's increased monumentally more comparatively to the others. So you've got to increase the areas that are lacking the most, and then obviously just find what works. So analysis paralysis in itself is trying to find things that you think need working on, when the biggest thing that's going to help you is to take action and go and work more by trial and error, improve more by trial and error. And no, it may not be nice to figure out what's not working well and to keep failing over and over again, but you've got to understand that's how you make progress. Your mind understands that it finds new ways to do things that are more efficient, more effective, and better for you as a whole. But you've got to find those ways. You can't learn them and then not implement them. That's not going to help. You can't read about them and then not implement them. You can't see them and not implement them. You've got to use them, utilize them, apply them, that new method that works better. Then your brain will remember it, and then you'll go back to using it every time you need to use it. It's like when you go into a room without a light on, you automatically go to feel for the light switch if it's a dark room. Yeah, that's just a habit now. You go to flick the light switch. If you know that the best method for improving that aspect is that method, which what light switch, you need to find that light switch, but then you also need a light switch to press. Yeah, you need a flip. You need a switch to flick. Yeah. So that's all I'm going to say. It's all about taking action and improving on the areas that are lacking, and just covering all the bases that you can and bringing them all up together. So take action on the things that you think you need to learn more about. You don't need to read more, you don't need to watch more YouTube videos. And I'm not saying give it up altogether. I'm not saying don't watch anything at all ever again. Don't read anything ever at all ever again. But just take action and you'll learn a hell of a lot more. And just bring everything up. Try and bring it all up all equally. Find what areas you're lacking in and then put some more effort into them, because the progress will be monumental.